Welcome back to the Count to 10 podcast. My name is Simon Sanborn, and I started this podcast because I wanted to give back to my community. I'm a behavior-focused teacher. I wanted to give back to the teachers that I work with, and anybody who helps children who works with people that they need to work on communication, behaviors, understanding how and why people do the things that they do, understanding the brain, understanding kind of the communication and the meat of that. So that's the reason why I did this podcast. So today I was going to be a little bit shorter and sweeter than usual. We're winding up with the school year. We have about 5 days left, I believe. One more weekend before we're all finished up, and things are kind of slowing down a little bit. Got a little crazy and hectic there the last couple of weeks, but we had a lot of testing and a lot of things to kind of get finished up for the school year. With that being said, the year is kind of slowing down and feeling pretty good. And I think it's a good opportunity to talk about what we do for our own happiness and our own joy in our lives. Our jobs can be pretty overwhelming no matter what they are, whether you're, what you do for an occupation. You don't have to be a teacher to know that jobs can be hard and can be strenuous at times and difficult. So we need to find ways to make sure we're finding the joy and the love that other opportunities can provide for us. And I've talked in the past about on this podcast, and some of the things I've written have been kind of focusing on happiness. And we have this idea that happiness is something that we should try to be all the time. And happiness is not a thing that can be all the time. Our bodies and our brains don't work that way. There's going to be ups and downs all the time. Sometimes people, say things like, when I'm in a good mood and things are going well, my spouse isn't. And when things are going well and they're feeling good, then it's not that way for me. So, people can be on different pages and can kind of have ups and downs. So happiness is not something that we strive for every moment of every day. It's because it's not possible. It's just not possible. But recognizing when things are going well, recognizing when things do bring you happiness and joy, that's the important part. Focusing on a better understanding of why things don't go the way we want them to, or when we do have bad moments or a downtime in our lives. What's causing that, what's going on. Again, not to judge or give ourselves a hard time or, tell ourselves to suck things up and, let it go, that kind of stuff. That stuff's easy to say and it's more difficult to do, and it takes some processing to do that. And that's the main idea, is find ways to get through the process of understanding how and why your brain works the way that it does. I think meditation, people give me a hard time that I say it so much, but to me personally, meditation was the key to understand better how my brain worked. It gave me the pause, and it gave me the in the moment kind of feedback that I needed to know that what I was doing or thinking or processing through or struggling with was going to be okay. And it gave me some clarity, and it gave me that moment to just kind of consider where I'm at, consider what's going on, and then begin to once I kind of connect with what's going on emotionally, then I can start figuring out how to solve the problem. But I can't do that until I connect with it. So, we have a lot of people that get very down and very out about life in general. And sometimes I think it's because life is just kind of like happening to you, and you're not experiencing it, right? We just kind of let life happen around us, and we don't really experience it and try to find things. So I finished Ozark, the final season, this week off and on, and found a lot of joy in finishing that show, and I thought it was an incredible show to watch. And I found a little bit of joy in that, but I found a lot more joy in sitting on my deck and reading a book, or whatever it is that, turns you on and makes you feel good. Find those moments for yourself. As I like the idea of getting done with the school year, or accomplishing a goal, or getting past a big project and then having some downtime. I like that too. I look forward to those opportunities. I look forward to the summer break that we get to have. But I don't want to wait. I don't want to wait and be like, okay, so when I get done with this project, then I can relax. Or boy, once summer rolls around as a teacher, then I can just chill out. I don't want to keep that kind of mindset. I want to be able to find moments and find things to look forward to throughout my year because I'm going to continue to be working throughout my summer, planning for next year. People who talk about summers off for teachers means that for 2.5 months, they ignore what they do for a living is not only silly but ridiculous. I'll be planning and working, for parts of my summer, and I'll be taking some time with my family and relaxing a little bit, of course. But I try to do that all year long. I try to find those moments of happiness and joy throughout my entire year. So my suggestion to you, and what I wanted to kind of focus on, was you finding that opportunity for yourself now. So we're all excited about next week being the last part of the school year, but what are you going to do for yourself this weekend to have a moment of joy or happiness? After a couple of weeks like we've had, busyness and things happening, finding time to meditate, and I think meditation, because it frees us up from so much thinking, or it teaches us and kind of, helps us learn that our brains are kind of like this. So we have thoughts pop in and we can let them go, or we can focus on them. If we do focus on them, we understand why we're reacting the way we do. If we have reactions to thoughts and feelings that are happening inside of us, we know what's taking place because we're in kind of a state of mind of being really present. And I've said this before that one of my favorite things about Headspace app for meditation is one of their readers, Kasanga, is always stating to be gentle with yourself, is always stating to be kind and thoughtful to yourself if you aren't doing everything that they think you should be doing in meditation. And that's kind of the point. Meditation is just a tool and a practice to help you be present. And if you are learning how to be more present, which means you're not going to be present all the time. It's just part of the I think I'm a pretty good meditator at this point. And I still am not as present as I want to be. But that's not what it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to make me a perfect person or make me a perfect thinker or make me a perfect, person to understand how things work in my own brain. That's not what it's about. It's about just practicing to be in the moment when you can. And if you know people who know me, know that I'm a pretty calm and cool, collected person. And I've even got more that way because I don't feel the need to engage so much in negativity, and I have learned to kind of avoid those power struggles that present themselves every single day to us as human beings. So, in my behavior program, I work really hard at and try to impress upon the people I work with that not engaging all the time in negativity is some of the best things you can do as a tool for helping students understand behaviors. It's frustrating when you have students who don't want to do any work and they just kind of sit there and stare, and you can't make people do things they don't want to do. So not engaging in a power struggle somehow is going to be more beneficial for them and for me. So, and I'm going to be able to get them to kind of be guided to where I want them to be much easier than if I'm just hounding them and giving them a hard time and, pounding away at what they're not doing, what they should be doing, that kind of thing. So meditation has brought me into more clarity and more present moments in my job and in my relationships with my coworkers, my associates, my wife, my kids. And it's availed me to more opportunities to recognize my happiness. Because we're a negative, biased group as human beings, it makes me understand better how much an impact that positivity can have on me. And I used to do a lot of faking it till I made it. Most of my life, I would say probably until about 5 years ago. So I'm 51. That puts me at 46. Did I really feel like I was just starting to get a grasp on who I was as a person, understand myself more, give myself a lot more understanding and love and just in a general more positive point of view on who I was as a person. And so that shifted my thinking. And then the last couple years in my position has shifted my thinking again. I just keep finding these things that really impact the way I think and impact how I instruct and impact how I communicate with everybody around me. So that doesn't mean that I do it perfect all the time. That doesn't mean that I have it all figured out. Whew, that's for sure not true. But that being said, I'm continuing to discover things. I'm continuing to kind of grow and become the person that I want to be. And not just the person that I think everybody wants me to be the person that I want to be, and everybody be okay with that. And me, of course, most importantly, be okay with that. So find those things out there that make you happy. I think meditation helps you get there. But find the simple things. I've talked to friends who have, for once in their life, had a pause in what's going on around them. And I've asked, so what do you do this weekend? Well, on Saturday, I just kind of sat on my deck and watched the birds fly around and listened to the wind blow through the trees and watched the clouds float by. And in our society, it doesn't seem like that's okay to do. And it's about the best thing that you can do for yourself. If I was a person who was just so locked in and driven to the point where I stopped understanding my humanity and the people that I interact with and work with, that's going to be detrimental for me in the long run. So I can still be a driven person and have my job be important and me be focused on it, but I don't have to lose my humanity in doing that. And I can still be open and thoughtful and caring to the people around me, especially myself. So that's it for today. Thanks for your time. I appreciate everybody who's commented. I've gotten emails and I've talked with people. I've had lots of conversations, and I'm glad that the podcast has had some kind of impact, and I'm glad that people are getting something from it. Because not just if it's just, understanding how teachers think sometimes and hearing some of my comments, or you understanding that we're all on this together and we're trying to find a path, and the best thing we could do is just hold hands and smile at each other and take a step and see what happens. It's scary, but it's easier to do with other people around. So I don't do this stuff alone. I have a tremendous amount of support from my wife and my coworkers. So I'm very lucky, very, very lucky in that situation. Thanks for your time again. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other. We're all we got. So have a good night.